You need a bathroom? Okay. Yeah, bud. What you need, bro? What's up? You did. It's okay. I'll get it. Well, shut the door. I'll get it. All right, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Not bad. All right. So we're back, and thought it only appropriate that I did a live stream earlier, working on the range. So I wanted to come back because of today's big announcement. I've had a ton of questions about the Simplified Single Plane Swing. So I wanted to open back up on the live feed and see if you guys have any more questions, because I know some people work. So wanted to open it up, give you guys a chance to ask more questions about the system, anything like that. So by all means, feel free in the chat box, throw any chats you have up there in regards to the announcement today, the Simplified Single Plane Swing. I've got about an hour or so here to kind of work through it with you guys, answer any questions you have on it. And then I do have some more meetings this evening at the PGA show, so I'll be doing that. So any questions you have, throw in the chat bar. I'll be happy to take any questions you guys have regarding the Simplified Single Plane Swing announcement today. If you guys want to know more about the system, what it looks like, have questions, or interested, it's just a way of me helping you guys rather than try and squeeze everybody in for lessons. The on-demand method, I think, is the way that a lot of guys are going through or going to. So that's why I came out with the on-demand lesson program. So again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type it up in the chat. Ask anything you want that you feel is pertinent. It can be single length irons. It can be the Simplified Single Plane Swing, whatever you guys want. We're just going to hit some shots. Wanted to give you guys this afternoon a chance to ask any questions for some of you guys that didn't make the morning session after the video this morning announcing the new swing method. So anything you guys have this evening, feel free to type away, and I'll answer them as they come in. All right, let's take that. Nice little start. Started to the right, but it did draw back. Close that club face a little bit more here. That should be better. All right. Alan, what was the announcement today? So, Alan, the announcement I had today that came out, you can go back when you check out here, but I have a new video up on the channel. I've been working for quite a few months now. If you missed it last year, I was working and trying a bunch of different swings, and they had their benefits, but there were a lot of issues I was having with them. And so the announcement today was over the last 4 or 5 months, after I kind of developed it for myself, tested it with students, I've developed a new swing method called the Simplified Single Plane Swing. What it is it's a combination, taking some ideas, some concepts from the single plane swing. It's a great method. The Graves Academy, Kirk Young got set up for impact. great guys. They're really good at this single plane methods. I tried them all. They worked, but they weren't for me. So what I've done is taken some components that you see in single plane swings, combine them with some traditional swing philosophies, and so what I've done is I've packaged it in one on-demand package. There's 11 videos, and I've used it with students. I've done it all with students. It works. We've got a guy, Mike. He's the one in the video that gives the testimonial. The guy couldn't sniff 100, and after the first week on the simulator, he shot an 84. After week 2 of lessons, he shot 1 over, and he was on it again today. He sent it to me, I think, in 83. So 2 weeks of the simplified single plane swing, and he's dropped 15 strokes off his game. Actually, more than that. But so that's what it is. It's on my website. It's an on-demand package. It's a one-time payment of $100. You access the videos as much or as little as you want, and you have it for life. So you can come and go as you please. So that was the announcement. Like I said, I've had a lot of guys asking questions about it today. I did a live video after the announcement today, and I wanted to do another one this evening. So that's the swing you see me using now. It's a simplified single plane, and it's something that's really been a game changer for a lot of my students and myself. And I guess one of the things, Alan, that you guys should notice, I call it, or should take into account, I call it the simplified single plane swing, but for a lot of guys, it is not a true single plane swing, which means a lot of guys are not going to be swinging on that same plane the whole way through. It's more of a natural approach. So I call it simplified because we're breaking down some ideas of a single plane swing. And what we do is we create a consistent stock shot. I've got guys that were terrible slicers that now hit a beautiful little 5-yard buttercut, and that's their stock shot. And the best part with this system is, and I'll show you right now on the screen, is I've got mine where I'm hitting draws, and some guys will hit draws. You can easily switch it up and hit a fade, and I'll hit one here for you now. So how does it swing, or how does it differ from Kirk? Well, that's a great question. So, and that's one I've had a lot today. So with Kirk's method, because I used it, you kind of get your arms really straight. You kind of drop this trail elbow and kind of keep this front arm really straight. And there's some components of that in my swing system. But a lot of the difference is actually down below and the way you're using your body. So I've developed this system to really use your body naturally. So my personal experience with Kirk's is I had the results, but I was like this, and then he wants you to kind of point your hips towards the target and keep your weight. And to me, what that did is it locked my back hip in, and it put a lot of strain on my back. I'm not saying it does for every guy, but that's my personal experience, is it kind of really locked down a lot of what happens with your hips and down below. And on top of that, your knees tend to be a little straighter. I've got bad knees. So straight knees and a lot of torque on my knees is bad. So from the waist down, we get in more of an athletic stance, more of a traditional swing, and then we're using our hips a lot more to generate the power. The other thing is I don't go full straight arms. We don't talk about the full straight arms. We talk about straightening the arms, but I don't want your wrist locked because your wrist can generate a lot of lag and a lot of power for you. So the idea of it is to get in a position where our club is close to where it's going to be at impact, but it's not necessarily identical. And we're using our body in a more natural motion to generate our power and contact. And I guess the other part of that, like I said, is for a lot of guys, they're not going to be, now there are some guys, and I have a student that going into this method, they did become a true single plane guy where the club starts and returns on the exact same path. I can get it there if I wanted to, but for me, my club starts, and then when I come in, my hands tend to drop just a little bit. So it's more of a two-plane swing, but we're taking a lot of the single plane concepts into mind when we set it up. And it's just overall a more natural feeling. I actually feel like my body's meant to do this swing, and that's what I was going for. I don't, in the system, try and teach guys, that they need to have their hands in a certain position. I do talk about the arms a little bit, but, I have guys that still come over the top, and that's okay because with the setup and everything we've done, they no longer slice it. And I have guys that really come in from the outside and really hook it, and now they draw it, and it's all in the setup. So it's more of a natural motion, and it's not a true single plane for 90% of the guys. So that's really how we differ from Kirk. Couple different thoughts with it, and things like that. But that is a great question. That's one I've had a lot today, is how does it differ? And that's it. You kind of almost feel like in your setup, from your lower body down, you're in a two-plane, but we're incorporating some of the single plane ideas up in the upper body. And then with our swing, we're just kind of going from there and using our hips a lot more as opposed to pointing it to the target to where we're locked out, where we can't get as much rotation. So those are the two biggest differences, and there's a lot of minute differences as well, but those are the two that most people are going to notice right off the bat as the differences between my system and Kirk's system. Like I said, nothing against Kirk. His system's great. He's been doing it a long time. He's an expert, and it works. It just wasn't for me. It just didn't feel natural enough for me to continue using it. And when I played around, this is the system I've come up with. My students love it. They've had great success. And the best part is, you can be a new golfer and really only know that to swing a golf club, you've got to come here. And this system, within a couple days, you can pick up on it really quick. So it's also for quick learners. It's great for new guys. It's great for experienced guys. It's great for single-digit guys that want to build consistent shots. So across the board, it's a really, really unique system. And by combining, making a hybrid, so to speak, of single plane and two plane, I found we can do things with our body that are natural and the way they're supposed to move as opposed to feeling forced. Again, for some of you guys coming in, I'm hitting some shots here. BSing a little bit. We're talking a little bit about the announcement from this morning. My Simplified Single Plane System. We're talking about that. Kind of showing it off a little bit here now that it's out there in the world. So if you guys have any questions on the system, anything single length, throw it in the chat box there. I can see it come up and answer questions as we go along. I had some great meetings today at the PGA show. I'll recap those with a video tomorrow on the channel. Let you guys know some of the cool things out there in the golf world that are out. Some relationships I'm making. All right, I'm going to hit one more 7-iron. We're going to tweak it up a little bit. Got a hold of that one. so I'm going to switch over to the driver for you guys. The nice thing with this setup, much similar to some of the true single plane swings out there, the setup's exactly the same. So the way I teach you with the irons inside the system, exactly the same way you're going to swing your driver. One tweak is your distance from the ball and the ball position, that's it. But once you build that stock swing, you're able to duplicate it across all your clubs. So because my stock swing's a draw, this driver will result in a draw as well. And I didn't change anything except for ball position and how far I am away from the ball. It's the exact same swing as my iron swings. So that's another great thing about the system is, you know, you build your stock swing, and that's your stock swing. Hit another one here. Hit it pretty good this evening. Wasn't quite as far this morning. And same thing as I showed you guys with the irons, with the driver, I can make one tweak to my setup and then be able to actually fade the ball. So the system actually helps you improve your ability to move the ball left and right and actually hit the shape of the shot you want, which when you're on the course, we know can really benefit you. So now we'll go back and we'll just go back into my stock setup and we'll hit that draw. And I'll be honest with you guys, the driver was the biggest problem I had with the other systems I had tried. I felt like I lost power. I mean, there were some good ones I'd get out there, but I honestly felt like I was losing power. And for some reason, I was losing control. I couldn't control the driver the way I wanted to. And that was one of the reasons I got away. I mean, I was in the Kirk system for a good 6 months. And I just couldn't ever get comfortable with it. It almost felt like my body wasn't meant to do the things in that system. And, you know, so that's when I started playing around and actually came up with the Simplified Single Plane Swing system. It allows me to do things naturally and feel natural when I'm doing them. And I think that's huge when it comes to the mental side of the game. So again, anybody dropping in, anybody that's coming in new, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat bar. I can see it as we're going here. We're going to go probably another 45 minutes or so, give you guys some time to ask questions, and then I have another meeting at the PGA show, another virtual meeting with another company. So we'll drop out probably around 6:30 or so I can prepare for that. But I at least want to give you guys the chance to ask questions. Those of you that worked today or didn't catch all the information this morning, either in the live session or in the announcement video. So and we're just right back to that same stock shot with our irons. And that's the other nice thing with the system is I'm not teaching you to have a stock draw or a stock fade. We're taking your natural shot inside my Simplified Single Plane system, taking your natural stock shot, whatever your natural swing is, and we're improving it just by our setup. By improving that setup, we can now control the ball better. Like I said, some guys will actually get into a natural little fade. Some guys will get into a natural draw. But by setting up in the proper way that I teach, you're able to no longer slice it and no longer hook it. You're just going to continue to hit a stock draw or fade. And I'm not teaching you a club path. I do in the advanced video of the system, but I'm not teaching you right off the bat that you need to come from the inside and build a draw. I want you guys in the system, I want everybody in the system to build a natural, comfortable shot with what their body wants you to do. So for the longest time, I always came over the top, and that was natural. That was my natural feeling. And then you get coaches out there telling you you're coming over the top. You got to quit slicing. You got to quit slicing it. Well, yes, but no. I mean, if I can build a consistent fade that's a 5-10 yard fade, then why do I need to quit coming over the top? And that's one of the things that my system does, is helps you get into a position where you're help you get into a position that allows you to produce that fade or that draw as opposed to slicing it. Let's see. Give me 1 second, Alex. Check it out. All right. So, question is, and this is another one, what was the main change in the system that gave me my distance back? The main change, honestly, is being more athletic with the bottom part of my body. So the second, in the second video of the system, well, third video, because there's an intro video. Then the first one we talk about your grip. The third one we start talking about your hips, and the fourth one we talk about the setup. So in that third video, what I train you to do is how to work on these hips. Because honestly, if you think about it, the more you can get these larger muscles to move, the more distance you're able to create. So one of the things we talk about in that third video with the hips is learning how to use your hips properly in your swing. So a lot of guys and the other systems, not saying they don't teach you about the hips, but I don't think there's as much emphasis on the hips. You kind of get locked in and you point your hips towards your target, and what that does is now you're kind of here and your hips only have a little bit of room to move, whereas when you're in a natural athletic stance like I teach you in my system, now you have a lot more room for your hips to move. And when you can move that back hip back, it's going to make it easier on your torso to turn as well and build up a lot of that force. And then when you fire your hips and fire that torso, you're getting a lot more power from those big muscles. So that's the biggest change in producing distance. And that's why I say my system can help a lot of guys gain more distance, is because I teach you throughout the on-demand lessons how to use these hips and how to use your knees. Whereas, some of the other systems, and again, I'm not knocking them because they're great systems. They have great coaches. But when your knees are a little more flexible and your hips not pointed, now you can actually turn, and I can almost turn a full 90 degrees with my hips, as opposed to if I'm kind of a little more locked with my legs and pointing forward, I might be able to go 45 degrees. So that's where the distance comes in, being able to open these hips a little bit more to allow that torso to turn. The other thing it does with it, when you can open these hips and open this torso more, is it takes a lot of pressure off your back. And with your setup, with the athletic setup, you take a lot of pressure off your knees. So for a lot of guys that struggle with some lower back problems, don't feel like you can turn as much, or struggle with your knees, with my system, the Simplified Single Plane system, I'm teaching you to be more athletic. And that allows your body to move more fluidly and allow you to get more distance. So that is a big change in the setup from my system to, say, the Graves Academy single plane, Kirk's setup for impact single plane, is, I'm not kind of pigeonholing you into your knees being a little straighter or your legs being a little straighter. Pointing your hip kind of locks those hips a little bit. So I'm trying to get you guys in my system to understand that your hips and your knees can really generate a lot of power using the ground force. So that's where it's all coming from. And like I said, the biggest difference in my system and those other systems is your lower body at setup. And then again, I'm not saying that you need to be on a true single plane for this to work. 90% of the guys won't find a single plane, but we're going to set you guys up in a position similar to a single plane setup that allows your body to work more fluidly and be closer to where you want to be at impact. If you look at the two-plane swing, your hands are down here, and my daughter's a two-planer for right now. Until I get working with her here a little bit in the winter. I wanted to get my system squared away. But if you look at a two-plane, you're here. But what it does is it allows you to get the hips and the knees moving and the torso moving. So you have a two-plane, but the biggest problem guys have with a two-plane that they go to a single plane is now you're going from here, and your club's going to impact in here. So you've got, 6-8 inches, your hands are going to be different. That is something that I address in my system. It's not here because a lot of guys have this problem. This is where you're so inconsistent, is trying to get your hands from here, back here, through here, and into a position to impact. If we kind of start closer to impact with our hands, I'm not saying exactly where our hands are at impact, but if we start closer to impact, but have all this athletic ability from a two-plane swing, you're able to build more consistency. And again, I'm not concerned with guys so much when they come back and then come over the top in the system, because the way your legs and your body work with it, you're able to figure out exactly what's happening. And a lot of times, I know Mike's not on. Mike was in the morning session with me. He's one of the students. He was the only one comfortable enough to go on camera. But when Mike hits a slice in his system, it's in his hips, and he knows it right away. With this system, if you hit a slice, it's 9 times out of 10 because you never open up your hip in my system. So he goes back, and then he swings. And when he swings, he locks up, and it forces him a really big out to in, and then a big slice. If he hooks it, it's because he never gets into his back hip. He'll kind of start neutral and then open up the front hip, and he locks himself into a big into out and close in the face. So with my system, if you're hitting a slice, once you learn how the hips work, then you can actually fix that slice and turn it from a slice into a fade, which is really nice. Mike went from never having his driver, never hitting it. He was hitting a 3-wood or a hybrid, and he was still having trouble controlling those. One lesson, Mike pulled that driver out, and he was hitting like a 4 or 5 yard fade with it, and to the point where after the second lesson, he was playing a 10-year-old driver because he didn't want to play it. It was the only driver he had. He didn't want to buy a new one. Boy, he bought a new one because now he's playing a nice little fade, and now because he can hit that fade, he bought a new driver. He's got 30 yards on his drives because he's got something with 10 years more technology. And it's all because of the system. In 2 lessons, Mike has gone such a long way with his game that he feels so comfortable with it. He has no problem spending, a couple $100 on new equipment now because he's not afraid of it. So it is. And Mike puts it best all the time, and he even says so in the little testimonial he gives in the promo videos. It was enough for him to feel uncomfortable, but it felt natural. So as we were making the changes, it was a natural feeling. He didn't feel like he was forcing anything. It was different from what he was used to, but at the the same time, it was so natural, it was just easy to pick up. Let's see. Let's hit another fade here for you guys. Again, for you guys coming in, if you're new into the live video, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I know we're talking about the swing a lot. If you missed the announcement, I have a new on-demand swing program available on my channel, singleplaneschool.com. You can go there, plans and pricing, click on it. It'll give you all the video breakdowns. It's a one-time fee, guys. You know, my lessons cost $75 an hour. I want to help as many guys as I can. One-time fee, $100. It's over 2 hours of lessons, and they go quick. But they really focus in on a lot of things. I think they're broken up in such a way you guys can really learn. You know, and that's a lifetime fee. I'm not going to charge you month after month. $100, you have my videos for life, my lessons. So that's out there. That's available. That's why we're talking the swing. Another thing I talked about in this morning's live video was in the system, not only how easy it is to draw and fade the ball, and I cover all of that inside the program, but changing your height of your ball flight. And this system isn't the best for picking it up, but if I want to hit or need to hit a low shot, maybe it's really windy out, I want to keep it lower to the ground, let me change to something that's probably going to show it a little bit better. Let's just show a little 5-iron. But I'm going to set up exactly the same. And what I'm going to do is just change one thing in the system, or in my setup, that's going to allow me to hit a lower ball flight to fight that wind. Like I said, I don't know how well this arm motion is going to pick it up because it's not picking up the ball, it's picking up the club. But, so that was a low ball flight. And now, let's hit my normal stock ball flight. Okay, so yeah, that one's a little higher. Again, that same little draw. And that's just my stock shot. Some guys, like I said, some guys have a little fade, and that's fine too. All right, and let's see now if I can make the other change, and we can get one hoisted up there. If I get this one way up, it should disappear off the screen. Now, not so much on that one, but it was definitely higher in my net. But again, all I'm doing is one tweak in my setup, and it's not even with my swing itself. One tweak allows me to adjust ball flight. Same thing. Nothing with my setup or nothing with my swing to hit the draws or the fades to change my ball flight. It's just one little thing in my setup that allows me to do that. And if I want to hit a nice big old hook, there we go. And again, it was nothing I changed in my swing. I'm not, the system, I don't talk about, a lot of guys, when they want you to hit a draw or a fade, they want you to come from the inside to hit your draw or come over the top to hit your fade. And that's hard for a lot of amateurs. It's really hard to do. So in the system, by changing one little thing in the setup and still swinging the same swing, we're now able to control our left to right path or our right to left ball flights. Now let me see if I can really slice one here for you and show you what I mean. So I'm still going to take the same swing. same swing. And that's a big old slice just because I changed my setup. That's all I did. And that's another reason I call it the simplified single plane swing, is because we're simplifying everything for the guy. It's not anything overly difficult. We're just simplifying everything across the board for your swing to lower your scores. All right. So, and those were some great questions from Alan. Again, if you guys have questions, throw them in the chat box. I can see them as I'm swinging here, and we'll answer as I can. Sorry, just answering a text from my wife. All right. So let's get back to the stock shot here. There it is. Tomorrow's actually an exciting day at the PGA show. Tomorrow's all the big announcements, what's coming out, who's got what. So I don't have a ton of meetings scheduled tomorrow, but Wednesday I'll be sitting in on a session that Cobra's hosting, talking about single length versus variable length, and then additionally later in the day, Wednesday, I have a meeting with their VP of club R&D and club development to specifically talk about the wrap speed irons, the single length options, what the differences are. So I'll have some feedback for you guys on the wrap speed, even though I'm unable to test them at this point. I'll be able to get some feedback from Cobra themselves directly, and I'm hoping that maybe that kind of puts me in a good place with them and maybe puts me on their radar a little bit more. Yeah, not going to argue with that stock shot. I love that stock. Nice little draw. So again, guys, I see a lot of people coming in and out. If you guys have any questions, we've been talking about the new swing system, a little bit about the PGA show. If you guys have any questions, want to know anything, feel free. Type it in the chat. Let me know. Be happy to answer any questions you guys have on anything golf related. Just hitting some shots here, so it gives me something to do while we're chatting. At least according to the system. Better. can even have a little bit of fun, guys. If you don't have questions, we can try it. I don't know how well my system will pick it up, but if there's any particular shots you guys want to see me attempt anyway, you can throw it in the chat bar. I'd be more than happy to try any kind of shot you guys want, or try and hit a specific distance, try and have some fun with it. Again, but if you guys have any questions, feel free. Ooh. We've got about, I've got about probably another 20 minutes or so. I'll stay on. Any questions, again, let me know. But about 20 minutes, I got to jump off. I have a 7 o'clock PGA show virtual meeting. Actually, a pretty cool product that I'm meeting with. Again, what I'm going to do is the stuff I've seen today that I really like. I'll have a video for it tomorrow. So I'll be up a little bit tonight working on that stuff, just trying to get a little video of today's information together for you. Maybe 5 minutes or so. I'm not going to throw a lot of time at it. But there's some cool stuff I saw today. And like I said, I've got a couple more, and then we'll pick one or two and share it with everybody tomorrow. I was wondering why that one went a little further. I thought that was a 6-iron. I was like 210 6-iron. That's pretty long. It's a 4. Pretty consistent on ball flight, distance. And that's actually something that I wanted to make sure with the Simplified Single Plane Swing that could be produced for everybody is consistent distance, consistent ball flight, and I wasn't going to release it unless I knew it does. So I've worked with a few students on it, myself included. I worked on it, and it's producing consistent results, which is, I think, for most amateurs, something that everybody's really looking for is just consistency. And that could be a reason why you switch to single length irons. It could be a reason for a lot of things. Now that one was on me. But being able to build a consistent stock shot and be able to just know exactly where your ball's going was something that, you know, I wanted to make sure my swing system absolutely had. So, you know, going through testing and working with everybody, you know, we've got it. Is that going to go in the hole? Woo! All right, let's see. Let's try. Let's see. Yeah, why not? Let's go after some 50-yarders. Some little pitch shots here. That's the other thing with the system is pitch shots. Pitch shots, I teach you in the system. We pretty much set up exactly the same way. All we do is one little tweak and then we take our pitch shot. So that's another thing. I wanted to keep everything as simple as possible. That's going to be short, but no, maybe not. I thought it was short. But again, even with the pitch shots, we're getting the same ball flight. Just being able to create consistency. I'm pretty sure all of us would take that kind of pitch all day long. Yeah. Now, I guess one of the other things that I should cover is how quick to get comfortable with the simplified single plane. Honestly, guys, it took me, because I'm out hitting every day or hitting one way or another every day, probably about, a week, 5-7 days to really get comfortable with it and be consistent. For my students I've taught it to, they're able to see improvement within a week, and even more so after 2. I think from the on-demand system, it's all going to be on how much you're practicing. But I think it'd be safe to say that once you get to the iron swing and cover that video with the iron swings, usually 3-4 days, if you're swinging every day, maybe hitting 100 balls every day, you should start to see consistency. You should start to feel comfortable. And you get into 7 to 10 days, and it should really start to feel natural. And that's one of the things, because the system's so natural. It's not like other methods and other coaches where you need to practice, and it's going to take you 4 to 6 weeks to build it in. Because the system's set up for you to use naturally and to feel natural, it seems to change for guys. Guys seem to get comfortable and have a change in, a week and a half to really have a good noticeable change. It can happen a little bit faster. It can happen, maybe a little bit longer depending on your level and how experienced you are with the game. But, I'd say by the end of 2 weeks, if you're consistently practicing every day, then you should be seeing results really, really quickly. So again, if you guys want to check out what videos are included in the Simplified Single Plane System, go to the website, singlelengthschool.com, click on the plans and pricing page. It'll show you the pricing. It'll have a promo video of the Simplified Single Plane Swing for you there. And then down below, it'll actually list all of the videos. Now, I do have one other option on there, and that's for guys that want to be able to get my feedback in the swing. If you guys want to be able to submit videos, have me watch them, mark them up, draw on them, and get them back to you, you can do so. It's $10 a month. That's it. Just to be able to submit those videos to me. If you just have a general question, you can always send me a DM, shoot me an email. You can do that once you have the system. But if you wanted to do the video option, you can do that as well. It's there. But I have a feeling a lot of guys probably should get enough from the on-demand lessons that they don't need to be submitting videos unless they have a really big flaw. And the big flaws, they're going to show up in the setup. So if there's a big flaw, you're learning the simplified single plane swing system that I have on the website. You have a big flaw, you're still really slicing it, or you're still having a hook, or you're still not being very consistent with it, even after going through the videos, then you can submit some videos to me, and it's probably, honestly, one or two things that'll be fixed, and you'll be back up and running really quickly. So I don't anticipate a lot of guys using the video option to submit videos. I wanted it there, just so guys know it's an option. I'm here if you need me. But I'd say even guys that do sign up for it, probably use it once, maybe twice, unless you're really serious and getting ready for a tournament. But probably use it once or twice. And honestly, I don't know if you really have to come back because we're building such a natural swing for you. All right, enough pitch shots. We got a little over 10 minutes left. We'll go back to the big dog for a little bit. Again, if you guys jumped in, have any questions, throw them in the chat bar here. Like I said, a little over 10 minutes before I'm going to log off and get ready for my next meeting at the PGA show. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat bar. I can see them here as we're going. Oh, helps if I change it to driver. Finicky system U, and take it off pitch. 109-yard pitch with a driver. Pretty impressive. All right, there we go. Now we can hit the big boy. .122 club speed. Huh. We're going to go back to aiming out here, just so it doesn't catch as much rough. And that's been, for me, what you guys are seeing there. Nice little draw, about 300 yards, give or take. That's become my stock shot with the driver here. With this system, it's just become so much easier for me to control it. I used to have the same problem most guys had. Slice it, get under it, and when I'm trying to fix the slice, I'd hook it really bad, couldn't control it. Honestly, my driver was a killer for me for a good part of last year. I could get on film and hit it, but for some reason when I was playing, I couldn't. Since getting into this setup and this swing method, it's been like butter for me. A little bit of a slice there into out open face. So we'll fix that real quick. There it is. Back to the stock. Real 5 carry. We'll hit 2 more here. We'll hit 1 more draw, and then I'll switch it up and hit a fade. Drawing back nicely. Just started right, but drew back. And out. All right. Now again, with this system, switching over to a fade is actually pretty simple. It's just a quick tweak in my setup and same swing. And I can put it to the right if I want to. Although with a stock, I prefer not to go to the right. So we're going to come back 1 more stock shot here. And there's the stock draw. And again, guys, it's all in the setup. With this setup, I mean, if you're someone that slices it, we can get your slice out of a slice and more into a fade, a controllable fade, 5-10 yard fade, something that looks pretty, is consistent. If you're someone that hooks it really bad, we can take your really bad hook, add yardage, and get it to a 5-10 yard draw. And the best part is it'll work the whole way down your lineup, from driver the whole way down through your irons. And all we have to do is use the same swing. Our driver and our woods, there's slight tweaks to the setup, but everything else is exactly the same. Oh, yeah, little feet. All right, guys, so we're going to go about 5 more minutes. Last call for questions. Any questions on the PGA show? Any questions on single length irons? Any questions on the Simplified Single Plane Swing? Throw them down there in the chat bar now. Throw them in the live chat down in the section there. I'll answer them here. We got about 5 minutes before I got to run, so get those final questions in now. And again, all I'm doing here is working on my stock shot. That nice little draw I've got going, that's become my go-to shot, and it's natural. The system has allowed me to do it naturally. So this is, if I was just starting golf, this is probably very similar to the swing I'd use. A couple tweaks to it, but it really allows guys to just take what's natural for their bodies and build a nice stock shot. Yeah, I mean, we're consistent. Every once in a while, you can still spray one. I mean, it's golf, but for the most part, everything as I say, spray one. Still drawing back, but you know, it's all about building a good, consistent, repetitive swing. Starting to sweat, so we're just getting to the right point where it's about time to wrap up. Let's see. Good question. Oh, that's a good question. Is it more suitable for single length clubs? Honestly, it works for everybody. I have a couple guys that I've worked with this on that don't use single length irons. I mean, they're family members, but the one difference that happens in the simplified setup with variable length irons versus the single length irons is you've got to go back to a traditional movement of ball position. So, you know, your longer irons are going to be a little more forward in your stance, and your wedges and everything are going to be a little bit more back in your stance. And I do cover that in the videos. The simplified single plane is not just something that's for only single length iron users. All golfers can use it. Doesn't matter what their clubs are. It's just a matter of you've got to go back to the idea with variable length of moving that ball position. But as long as you move that ball position, everything else remains the same, regardless of what irons you use. And so it truly is, even for guys that use variable length, you are going to see the ball position move. You know, you'll see them have to adjust a little bit forward and back, but it's going to be the exact same swing, and it's going to be over and over repeatable. So it's good for everybody, and I do that in the setup video. I do cover variable length users as well. And we're going to hit probably two more here, guys. But I do want to remind you guys, if you want to check out that swing system, again, listen, you guys, I can give you lessons. It's going to cost you $75 an hour, or you can go do the on-demand lessons. It's $100 for life. So go check out the on-demand lessons. I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all, especially if you're looking for a new swing that's easier on your body, easier to perform, and that feels more natural. I think that's exactly what you're going to get with the simplified single plane. Again, for most guys, it's not going to be a true single plane. We're just taking some concepts from it and implementing it into, guys will laugh, but it's kind of a hybrid of a traditional swing and a single plane swing. So check it out over on the website, singlelengthschool.com. You can find it on the homepage. You can actually click on the plans and pricing. There's more information there. And you can sign up, and as soon as you sign up, you have access. You can start training in 10 minutes if you wanted to once you sign up. So go check that out. I'm going to hit one more here, and then we're going to sign off. Like I said, I'll have a video tomorrow on what I found at the PGA show today, so be sure to stop by and check that out. Go check out the simplified single plane swing. Again, I call it simplified for a reason. It's going to simplify everything, make you golf smarter, not harder, like I always say. And I think it really has the ability to change the game for a lot of guys. So go check it out on the website. If you guys have questions, email me, send me a DM, social media. You can hit the contact me button from the website and email me, singlelengthschool.com. But guys, I appreciate you guys stopping in. I do have a meeting here shortly with the PGA show, some things going on, so I'm going to head that way. But again, don't be afraid to hit me up. If you guys want to sign up for the single plane, simplified single plane, go do it. Start your training tonight. The first couple videos you can do at your house. You don't need to be outside. Actually, the first first three videos, you don't even need to swing. You'll understand and learn how to use the grip, learn how to set up your stance, and learn how to use your hips. You don't even need to go outside for that. So go check it out. If you guys have more questions on it, again, like I said, hit me up. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was great to talk with everybody. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks, guys.